Hey there my awesome peeps, and welcome back to a new Fortnite creative video. Not just any Fortnite creative video. Today, I thought I would show you guys how I created my car checkpoint system from my World's Race map. Now this ain't exactly how I set it up because the World's Race map has more mechanics to make it do everything I need it to do. This is a more simplified version of how I did it. So guys, if you're excited, please go ahead and drop a like. If you're new around here and you haven't done it yet, please consider subscribing. And if you want to help a gal out, or if this tutorial helped you out, please consider using code Demon-Rebel, #ad in the Fortnite item shop. Without further ado guys, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Okay guys, so here we go. I'm gonna do my best to explain this. I've never done a tutorial video before, so if I stumble along, just bear with me. Alright, so the things you're going to need for this, obviously, as you can see in my quick bar, and sorry my webcam's up here, I want you guys to be able to see all the settings as well. Anyway, in the quick bar is the vehicle, whatever vehicle you're going to use, doesn't matter. Player spawn pad, obviously, but we're going to use the settings in that to make this work. If you're doing a race, a checkpoint, and you're going to need triggers. So I've already set up two courses here. This course here is the straight race with the disabling. I would have set more elaborate design up, but this is just a tutorial, so I wasn't really trying to. And this is going to be teleporting to a new car. So let's get into a basic, straight race with a car checkpoint. Hey, it's Editor Rebel here. Something I forgot to mention during this video. This is all set up as a single player scenario. You could probably use the same system in a two-player. But that's when the vehicles get even more limited in use. I get into that further into the video. But I just want to make sure you guys knew this is all single player. If you're trying to set this up for more than one player, just know you're not going to be able to use that many vehicles based on however many checkpoints you use. So let's get back into this. So your start car, this is why I call this the start car. These are the modified options. Visible in game, I'd like to have it off. It's an option. You don't have to have it. Doesn't affect this. But it's better to have it off. Radio disabled, color style, doesn't matter. All this is just player preference. These three is where it's needed. So your assigned driver when receiving from needs to be on the channel you're going to use. For the sake of this video, for this track, we're starting with channel 1. Disable when receiving from, that is where the possible mishap could happen with the car. Because either you're going to put triggers all over the place for your first car, or you could do like I did in World's Race and have a jump where there's a possible fail and the car checkpoints back. And when player exit the vehicle, you need to have that on a separate channel than assigns, because depending on what you're building, if the car flips, you want to give the player a chance to fix that car. So those are the channels we have for that. So the one is this trigger here. This trigger here is, oh, I'm sorry, no. I have them backwards. This is the one. This is the trigger that's going to send the player to the car. Now, the reason it says channel 6 is because I set up the entire race and then set up my player spawn. But normally I probably have them before. But either way, you got to make sure that this channel here is connected to the player spawn pad. So that way they will spawn to the car. And that the receiving trigger transmit on is whatever is assigning the player to the car. So when you start the race, the player is going to be sent to that car within 1 second. If the car flips, this trigger is going to tell them they have is the 5 seconds. It's not going to tell them, but it's a 5-second delay, so the player gets out. It shouldn't take them more than 5 seconds to flip the car, and they'll place right back into the car. That's the only settings you need for your first car. Now, when you... Okay, I did that. Hang on. Okay, so when you go to set up your checkpoint car, I try to place it near one of the checkpoint devices. You don't have to if you're making a race. If you're making a death run, you can do it however you want. These are settings we have for the car. Enabled during phase, none. This car needs to start non-existent. The visible in game should be off. A player should not see that spawn pad when they're going by that checkpoint. If you have the radio disabled and enabled in the other one, you obviously want to copy the same thing. Color and style needs to copy the previous car. Now, this one is going to assign the driver from a different separate channel than our previous car, because we don't want try to set them to a car that doesn't exist anymore. So that's going to be channel 4. Destroy vehicle when receiving channel 3. You notice it's the same thing that disables the first car, because if they come back and they miss the jump or whatever it happens to be, we want it to keep sending them to this car. Enable from channel 3 as well, because it's going to destroy the car and respawn the car. Trust me, it makes sense. And when they exit on channel 5. So obviously this right here is going to act as my death zone for the cars. That just needs, that's the trigger you're also going to put wherever you want your car to despawn on. So if you have like a canyon and you want the car to go away, you have to place a pretty good sized trigger to make sure that the car hits it. The triggers for this vehicle are right here. This right here is going to send the player back to the car, just like the first one. We have to make sure that it matches sending and exiting channels. This one right here is what's going to send the player to the car. Just like the spawn pad, but this time we're just sending the player. And that's all there is for this. That's as simple as it is. So make sure that you're pausing on those points if you need to. So let's give this a go. I'll show you how it works. And as you can see, I was within 1 second, I was placed in my car. And as I'm driving along, obviously none of the triggers are going to be seen, but I don't see the spawn pad for the car. This would be where my car would disable for whatever reason. 1 second later, I'm back in the car. So to the player, there's an illusion that my car hit a checkpoint. But in reality, it's just a new car. And now I can go again. Oh, I missed the jump again. I'm at the checkpoint. So that's what makes it feel like it's a checkpoint. And then, you make the race and you finish. So that's basically all that is for creating a simple... Oh, and if I get out of the car, the whole 5-second thing, I'm going to spawn back in the car. Just like that. So that's all there is for making a very simple, straightforward car checkpoint system. Okay, so now that we've gone over how to make a straightforward checkpoint system, I'm going to go over how you can make it so if you want to make multiple tracks, different areas, maybe put them in a different car. So this is what I call the car teleporting checkpoint system. Sorry about that. So I've already moved my player spawn over here and I changed it to channel 12. For the sake of this area, I start with channel 10, kind of like channel 1, so that way we get a little straight through. So the same settings that are in this one will apply to this vehicle here. Nothing will change, it's all going to be the same. So whatever settings I showed you here, you're going to do the same all the way up to here. The very last trigger is what's going to destroy your current car and send the player to the next car. So this is going to be trigger 16. We go to the new car and we make sure that it enables from 16 and it's going to assign on 17. We assign on 17 so that there's a 1 second delay to send the player. Now, if you wanted to continue the checkpoint system, again, you just follow the same settings that are throughout here. Very simple. So, your last checkpoint is going to be what destroys the car and sends the player. Now, sometimes there's an issue where I mentioned that I use mutator zones. Sometimes I noticed in World's Race there was an issue where the player wasn't being sent. Because I couldn't lay my trigger down the way I wanted. I keep losing my voice tonight. I apologize. Anyway, I used a mutator zone that had, when player entered on, transmit to channel 16. It was just a backup for when the trigger didn't work. That's the only reason why World's Race is a little more complicated. So yeah, that's all you gotta do. So let's go ahead and start it up and show you how that works. Alright, so the player is going to be sent to the truck within 1 second. There we go. I'm going to go up here. Something I wanted to mention earlier that I didn't mention before. Where the truck is, you could probably set up a trigger as well. So that when the truck... I didn't set it up. I probably should have. Or you can set it up to that checkpoint device too. To send a signal to a HUD message that says checkpoint saved. Kind of gives the player idea that there's a checkpoint system in place so that when they mess up, they don't think they're starting away the bat. It's just a kind of a nice thing to add. Anyway, I'm going to hit this. Be sent back to my truck. Get out. And I should be sent back to this truck as long as I set it all up right. Okay. And then, of course, if Whoops, I hit the corner. Okay. Rebel, stop being the bot now. When I go through this checkpoint, the car's going to disable. And I'm sent to my brand new car where I can finish the race. You can set up more checkpoints. Now, The only downfall to this system is how many checkpoints you place. Because obviously we can only have 16 cars in the map. Now, if you're making a... Let me just finish this race real quick. I don't know why it didn't count. Oh, I have my trigger too close. Anyway, obviously if you have a multi-vehicle race, you can have helicopters. I do not have a checkpoint system set up for the helicopters or the boats or the surfboards, but it should be kind of the same thing. It should be the same thing. The only difference is the helicopter, you're going to have to take off flight again. Also, something I don't know if this one's going to send back. I don't know if they set that up. Something that I didn't think of before when I made World's Race. When you are setting this up, your vehicle, when it despawns, should face the same way that your new vehicle is going to face. So that way when the player spawns in, they're not facing a different way in their vehicle. Just a tip there, because I didn't do that in World's Race. All my vehicles ended up despawning facing this way. So when the player went into the new vehicle, their cameras are facing this way, but the vehicle is facing that way. So just a little tip for you. But yeah, that's all I've got. That's the tutorial. Let me end the game real quick. That's the tutorial. If I confused you at all, which I probably did because I'm not really good at this, make sure to ask me some questions in the comments, guys. But yeah, that's the tutorial. I really hope this video helps somebody out, whether you're making a racing map or a death run map, whatever it is. I hope that it helped you out. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave me some comments. I'll answer as many as I can. Or if you have any tutorials that you might want me to try to do for you, I can do my best in doing it. Just leave me a comment. As always, guys, don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And thanks for being awesome. Bye!